Her lips curled into a sneer, cruel and unfamiliar. "Well, at least Mom's new guy isn't some pathetic failure like you," she snapped. The clatter of cutlery stopped mid-motion. Her words, sharp as broken glass, shattered the fragile peace of my dining room. Across the table, my ex-wife sat reclined, lazily swirling her wine with a smirk that betrayed her complicity. She had rehearsed this with Emily. I could see it in the way the line was delivered. Perfectly cruel. I didn't react. I chewed, slow and mechanical, swallowing against the lump forming in my throat. I reached for my water, masking the sting that spread like fire inside my chest. And then the quiet came, not just a sudden silence in the room, but a deeper stillness, hollow and irreversible. There was a time Emily would leap into my arms after school, her little ballet shoes smacking against my thighs, her face flushed and glowing. "You're my hero, Daddy," she'd whisper into my neck. And I believed it. Even after the divorce, I stayed in her life. I paid for everything. Her tuition, her car, that summer abroad in Italy she still talks about. All of it came from my sacrifices. I never boasted, never made her choose sides. Not even when Karen left for a man with a polished smile and deeper pockets. Not even when she started dripping poison into our daughter's ears, turning my patience into weakness, my stability into failure. I watched as Emily grew cold. Her affection dulled into obligation. Her hugs turned half-hearted. Her eyes rolled when I asked about school. She started calling her mother's new husband Dad, without a flicker of hesitation. But the real blow, it came wrapped in numbers. A tuition invoice I didn't recognize, paid by him. The portal access I once had quietly revoked. My funds siphoned off without notice. They thought I wouldn't notice, or that if I did, I wouldn't fight. They were wrong. Karen always counted on my silence. She forgot that I was the one who built the foundation she strutted across. She assumed I'd continue paying, quietly, to avoid the mess. But I was done funding my own erasure. First, I locked the education fund. It was under my name. She never bothered to read the details. Then I canceled the lease on Emily's car. My company's account, my decision. It was gone before sunrise. I cut off access to school fees, meal plans, course materials. The university now sent all communication directly to me. Emily couldn't enroll in a single class without clearing the balance. And then I waited. It didn't take long. The call came at 6:47 p.m. Karen's voice trembled, outrage barely held in check. "What the hell have you done?" she snapped. "Emily's stranded. Her car's gone. What's wrong with you?" I took a deep breath and answered with the calm of a man who had held back for far too long. I stopped paying for disrespect. "You're hurting your daughter," she hissed. "No," I said. "I'm teaching her what consequences look like. Same lesson you skipped." I hung up. 2 days later, Emily showed up on my doorstep. Not to apologize, at least, not at first. She came to plead. Her eyes were red-rimmed, her posture deflated, her clothes unfamiliar, borrowed, maybe. Her nails were bitten down. She hadn't looked that small in years. "I need help," she whispered. I said nothing. Tears welled up and spilled over. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. It was a joke. Mom said you wouldn't care." I looked at her. Not the young woman who had dismissed me, but the child who used to cling to me, who once sobbed backstage because she missed a step and thought I'd be disappointed. "I never wanted you to love me for my money," I said softly. "But I won't let you insult me and still take from me. You meant what you said at dinner. Now you'll learn what that costs." I didn't give her money. I didn't offer keys. I gave her something far more valuable, the chance to grow. She took a part-time job, moved in with a roommate. She struggled. She adjusted. Karen kept calling. Angry voicemails, panic ones, guilt-laced ones. I didn't respond. But I listened. "You're destroying her future," she accused. No, I was saving Emily from the same entitled decay that consumed her mother. Months passed. Emily's messages grew infrequent, but steadier. She stopped asking for help, started sending little updates, photos from work, proud mentions of saving up, a thank you tucked between her words. She was learning. Karen, meanwhile, went silent. Her shiny new life dulled fast. Her husband's company collapsed under debt. The vacation stopped. The photo ops disappeared. I said nothing. I simply stepped aside and let the facade collapse. People think revenge is loud, explosive, dramatic, but the most effective kind is quiet. It doesn't destroy. It exposes. And when it's done, those who betrayed you aren't crushed. They're simply left to live with the truth of who they become. That's all the justice I ever needed.